The NHL trade deadline is just a few days away, and today, the TSN trade bait board just dropped. We're going to be predicting everything we think is going to be happening. So, to start off, we have the Nazem Kadri trade. Let's get right into it. So this is the trade we're going to be looking at. Nazem Kadri and Zach Whitecloud to the Colorado Avalanche for Mikhail Gulyev, Ross Colton, 2027 first-round pick, and a 2027 second-round pick. Let me break that down for you. Since last season, we saw Cal Ritchie go over to the Islanders for Brock Nelson. The next best thing Colorado left to give up, Mikhail Gulyev. He's a high-skill, elite skating defenseman that fits the Flames' rebuild perfectly. Colorado gets Kadri back for that 2C spot, and they add Zach Whitecloud, the 11th on the trade bait board, and we will talk about somewhere else that he could go. To toughen up their bottom pair, because Colorado cleared Samuel Girard's contract, they can take Kadri's full $7 million cap hit without keeping a single penny. This is a massive win-win. Calgary gets the picks and the deep prospect for the future, and Colorado becomes an instant favorite to win the West. We just got some really big news. Vincent Trocheck, second on the list. Today, he's officially confirmed that he's using his 12-team no-trade clause to block any move to the West Coast. He wants to win, and he wants to stay near his family on the East. This just turned into a trade deadline to an absolute battle between two teams, the Detroit Red Wings and the Carolina Hurricanes. One wants to bring a local hero home, and the other wants a reunion with their former star, who's going to blink first and pay Chris Drury his high asking price. Let's look at the deals. Starting off with Detroit, Hockey Town. The Red Wings are currently 4th in the Atlantic, and they're desperate for a 2C to slot in behind Dylan Larkin. Trocheck grew up in Michigan and played for the Little Caesars program, so this is the ultimate homecoming story. If we were looking at a trade, this is what it would look like. Vincent Trocheck to the Detroit Red Wings for Sebastian Cossa, Lombardi, and the 2026 first-rounder. The Rangers are 2.0 rebuild is all about the future. With Shesterkin's contract always in the news, getting a blue-chip goalie like Sebastian Cossa is a massive win for Chris Drury. For Detroit, adding Olympic gold medalist 3 years left on his contract makes them a legitimate threat to win the East right now. But don't count the Carolina Hurricanes out. Rod Brimmer has been looking for a true 2C ever since Trocheck left in 2022. They are Stanley Cup or bust this year, especially with Florida struggling. This is what the trade could look like. The Carolina Hurricanes receive Vincent Trocheck, and the Rangers receive Bradley Nadeau and a 2027 first-round pick. Trocheck already knows the system in Carolina. He's a face-off machine, 56% this year. And he's the right-handed shot the Canes desperately need on the power play. The Rangers get Bradley Nadeau, who's a pretty good goal scorer. And with the first-round pick, they can probably get a pretty good prospect. If Trocheck wants to stay on the East and win the Cup, Raleigh is the most logical destination. As the time's ticking towards Friday's deadline, and the number 3 on the board is Blake Coleman. He is officially the man to watch. But this isn't just about hockey anymore. Insiders are reporting that Coleman's family is already moved back to Texas for the rest of the season. With his wife expecting to have a baby next month, it looks like a homecoming is inevitable. But will he be wearing a Stars jersey heading back to the team he won 2 cups with in Tampa? Let's break down the 2 massive deals on the table. First up, the Dallas Stars. They just had a franchise record with 9 wins in a row, but they have a massive hole in their lineup with Tyler Seguin out for the rest of the season. They need a veteran leader who can play top 6 minutes and kill penalties. Coleman grew up in Plano, Texas. Imagine the energy of bringing the hometown kid back for a cup run. This would be the trade would look like. Blake Coleman to the Dallas Stars for Liam Bichsel and a 2026 first-round pick. Calgary wants to build around youth. By sending Coleman home, they get Liam Bichsel, a monster defenseman who will be the perfect partner for Zane Parekh. Dallas gets a healthy, motivated Coleman who replaces everything they lost with Seguin. Trade number 2. Tampa Bay is desperate for that third-line grit. They won back-to-back championships, and they have a wide-open spot for a veteran defenseman. Here's what the trade would look like. Blake Coleman with 50% of his salary retained for Ethan Gauthier, a 2027 first-round pick, and Zygmunt Gudmundsson. The championship DNA move. Tampa already knows Coleman fits their system like a glove. Calgary is targeting Ethan Gauthier because he plays exactly like a younger version of Coleman. Tampa gets their guy, and Calgary gets a first-rounder and a blue-chip prospect. So, what's it going to be? The family homecoming in Dallas or the championship reunion in Tampa? One thing's for sure, Coleman's family is already in Texas, and the Flames aren't going to move him fast. Drop a comment where you think Coleman lands by Friday, and don't forget to subscribe for a Robert Thomas trade breakdown next. If you thought the NHL trade deadline was going to be quiet, think again. The St. Louis Blues are officially burning it all down. Reports just dropped today, March 3rd, that talks are heating up between the Blues and the Buffalo Sabres. Here's the kicker. St. Louis isn't just moving Robert Thomas. Insiders like Pierre LeBrun say the asking price is astronomical because the Blues are trying to package Thomas with veteran contracts like Justin Falk and even Stanley Cup winner Jordan Binnington. We were all looking at the landscape shifting blockbuster and the other team that Robert Thomas could go to. Let's look at the two deals that could break the NHL tonight. First up, the Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres haven't made the playoffs in 14 years, but they currently are sitting third in the Eastern Conference and are ready to be the genuine buyers. By taking on Justin Falk along with Robert Thomas, they fixed their top four defense and their top line center depth chart in one shot. Here's the trade. Robert Thomas and Justin Falk for Konsta Helenius, Zach Benson, 2026 first-round pick, 2027 first-round pick, and Jordan Greenway. Chris Johnson reports Buffalo is dangling the equivalent of multiple first-rounders to get this done. By giving up blue chippers like Helenius and Benson, they are paying the moon price Doug Armstrong is asking for. This is a massive gamble, but it officially ends the rebuild in Buffalo. But Utah is the dark horse. Their GM, Bill Armstrong, was the guy who actually drafted Robert Thomas all the way back in St. Louis. He knows him better than anyone, and Utah has a massive cap space to take on Jordan Binnington, too. Here's what the trade would look like. Robert Thomas and Jordan Binnington. For Tiga Ginla, Cole Baldwin, Karol Vejmelka, a 2026 first-round pick, and a 2027 first-round pick, and a 2026 second-round pick. This is the ultimate all-in move for Utah. They get a one-season franchise goalie. The Blues get Tiga Ginla, the highest upside prospect in the trade market, and enough draft capital to rebuild the entire roster in 2 years. If Robert Thomas waives his no-trade clause, it's because he wants to face the new franchise in Utah. The big question is the no-trade clause again. Robert Thomas has to waive it for this to happen. He only chooses the playoff hunt in Buffalo or the brand-new era in Utah. One thing is for sure, Doug Armstrong isn't blinking. If he doesn't get the moon, he'll just wait until the summer. Drop a comment which of these two mega trades you would take. Buffalo's young stars or Utah's massive haul of picks. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Because next up, we have Tyler Myers. Alright, let's talk about the biggest man on the trade block. Literally. Tyler Myers is number 5 on the board, and he's been sitting out of Vancouver London for almost a week while the Canucks try and move him. We have a massive standoff. Reports as of today, March 3rd, say that Vancouver and the Detroit Red Wings have a deal in place, but Myers hasn't signed off on it yet. He's the full no movement, and he's being patient to see if his home state team, the Dallas Stars, can match the offer. With the deadline just 3 days away, it's a total game of chicken. Steve Yzerman has the offer on the table. He wants Myers to play in the second pair with Ben Sherratt to create a massive shutdown defense unit in Hockey Town. This is what the trade could be looking like. Tyler Myers and a 2027 fifth-round pick for a 2026 second-round pick and Elmer Soderblom. Vancouver loves this deal. They get a second-round pick and a giant prospect in Soderblom to start their rebuild. But Myers has spent a couple years in Vancouver and his family is settled there. If he doesn't believe Detroit is a true cup contender, he might just stay put and force Vancouver to wait until the summer. But there's a deal that Myers is actually waiting for. He was born in Houston, Texas, and the Dallas Stars are on a franchise record 9-game winning streak. They're the definition of cup contenders. This is what the trade could look like. Tyler Myers and Connor Garland for Liam Bichsel, 2026 first-round pick, and Colin Blackwell. By adding Connor Garland to the deal, Vancouver gets a much higher return. They get Liam Bichsel, the best young defenseman in the Stars system, for Myers. This is a dream. Going to Texas to win a Stanley Cup. If the Stars can make the cap space work, this is the deal that finally gets Myers to waive his clause. So, what happens first? Does Yzerman convince Myers that Detroit is ready for a run? Or does Jim Rutherford pivot and send him to Dallas for a monster package? Myers holds all the cards right now. Let me know your comments. If you're Tyler Myers and if you're Tyler Myers and you're waving for Detroit or holding out for Texas. No, never mind. Just disregard that. At number 8 is the most expensive and most debated name on the board, Elias Pettersson. The Canucks are one of the worst teams in the entire NHL, and after being benched over the weekend, the PD era in Vancouver feels like it's reaching a breaking point. But here's the reality. He's 6 years left at $11.6 million and a full no movement. If he leaves, it's because he picked the destination. Reports today said the LA Kings has officially jumped to the front of the line and they are ready to sell the farm to save their season. This is what the trade could look like. Elias Pettersson. The Canucks receive Quinton Byfield, Brant Clark, and 2 first-round picks. LA just fired their coach and they're desperate to find a long-term successor to Andrei Kopitar. With Kevin Fiala out for the rest of the season after the injury in the Olympics, they have cap space to make this work right now. For Vancouver, this is the ultimate great reset. They got 23-year-old power forward in Byfield and the franchise caliber deep prospect in Clark to start fresh. But don't rule out the Carolina Hurricanes. The Hurricanes receive Elias Pettersson. The Canucks receive Seth Jarvis, Alexander Nikishin, and a 2026 first-round pick. Carolina's first in the East, and they're tired of falling short in the conference finals. They need an elite 2 seed. They are one of the few teams Pettersson might actually waive his clause to. If Vancouver can't get Byfield from LA, Seth Jarvis is the next best centerpiece for a rebuild. Number 9 on the board is Evander Kane. He's 34 years old and it's the final year of his deal. And he's still one of the most physical power forwards in the game. Vancouver is looking to sell, and even though his stats are a bit down this year, playoff teams are lining up for his grit. Reports today, March 3rd, say that 3 teams are in a tug-of-war to land him before Friday. The Hurricanes receive Evander Kane, 50% retained. The Canucks receive Jesper Kotkaniemi and a 2026 third-round pick. Carolina is a wagon right now, and they need someone to protect their stars like Sebastian Aho. Kane brings that edge they've been missing. By swapping him for Kotkaniemi, Vancouver gets a younger center they can try and build around. While Carolina gets the muscle they need for a deep run with Vancouver retaining half the salary, he only costs the Canes about $2.5 million. But watch the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're on a 6-game winning streak and want to recreate that heavy style that won them back-to-back cups. The Lightning receive Evander Kane. The Canucks receive Isaac Howard and the 2027 second-round pick. Tampa doesn't have a lot of draft picks left, but they're willing to move prospects to win now. Evander Kane is a bottom 6 piece that already has Yanni Gourde, would make Tampa the most miserable team in the league to play against. For Vancouver, getting a blue-chip prospect like Isaac Howard is a massive win. For a player they were considering terminating just a week ago. The big news today is that the Dallas Stars actually passed on Kane. They were favorites, but Jim Nill reportedly pulled out of the talks because he didn't want to mess with the chemistry of their 8-game winning streak. That leaves the door wide open for a team like Colorado to sweep in and seal him. Is Evander Kane the missing piece for a cup run, or is he too much? Like and subscribe, as we got Dougie Hamilton coming up next. At number 10, we have the most expensive defenseman on the board, Dougie Hamilton. He got a $9 million cap hit through 2028. And today's reports are wild. The New Jersey Devils are reportedly motivated to move him to clear cap space for a massive summer retail. But who takes on that much money in March? Two teams that have emerged today as the frontrunners, and one of the teams is a huge surprise. First up, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Dougie Hamilton and the Penguins. The Devils receive Ryan Graves and the 2026 second-round pick, as well as a mid-level prospect. Kyle Dubas is known for being aggressive, and rumors today are saying he's eyeing Hamilton to pair with Erik Karlsson. Pittsburgh has boatloads of cap space, and they are currently second in the Metro. By taking Hamilton now, they create the most offensive blue line in the NHL for one last run with Sid. For New Jersey, they get Ryan Graves back to stabilize their defensive and clear millions in future cap space. But the sentimental favorite is the Carolina Hurricanes. Dougie played his best hockey in Raleigh. The Canes do need a right-shot power play specialist. The Canes receive Dougie Hamilton. The Devils do retain 25% of his salary. The Devils receive a 2026 first-round pick and a mid-level prospect. Carolina's cup or bust this year. They know Dougie Hamilton fits their system perfectly. The Devils are willing to eat a little bit of that salary. Carolina's reportedly ready to give up their first-rounder to get the deal done by Friday. It's the reunion that every Canes fan has been waiting for. The second to last player we're going to be talking about is Spark Plug today. Vancouver Canucks are on total summer. It's these big average while everyone assumed the factor was on serious discussions. 58 points in 60 games. Islanders GM Matthew Darch is reportedly ready to prize. Reward today on March 30th total stalemate and Garland is the perfect fit. Elliot Friedman is a Massachusetts native who already has elite chemistry with told the front office assistant captain Bo Horvat fight for this playoff spot. Nashville's won 3 points out, and the locker room is officially received Connor Garland. The Canucks received Danny Nelson and the 2026 first-round pick. There was a trade. This is what we were looking at. The Islanders have 2 first-rounders in this upcoming draft. Predators need scoring help in the 2026 first-round pick. Garland brings 50 points. Even if Riley doesn't want to go net for such adoption. The head coach Patrick Ballin loves LTIR. The Stars have Vancouver getting a first-round pick in Canada. The blue-chip prospect like Danny Nelson ready to offer a Godfather package. Moving him now, they want O'Reilly to anchor their third on the World Cup. The Trotz can be the franchise defenseman. Garland's phone movement. He might kick on July 1st. O'Reilly's heart and make the trade anyway. To trade him without his permission. If not Dallas, it's Colorado. But let's be real. Now, O'Reilly retired the terrible terms years ago. We've taken out the Avalanche received Ryan O'Reilly. The Predators received Mikhail Gulyev, 2027 Dallas. The city. The Avs are desperate for a 55% on his faceoff. Until he waves even with the bad blows, the Garland trade is to the Islanders is much more likely. O'Reilly's the perfect hockey fit to the draft. With O'Reilly being vocal about staying in Nashville before Friday. This only happens if Colorado overpays so much that Trotz can't say no. So this is where we're going to end the video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. And I can't wait for the NHL trade deadline. Bye, guys.